Michael Rappaport would be the example of somebody who saw the dollar signs after October 7th and decided to run with it. Somebody like Noa Tishby, she's been at this for a very long time. So a shout out to Connor Eccles at the Responsible Statecraft. That's the name of the publication. And so, inside Israel's shadow campaign to win over American media, leaked emails show how Act for Israel, led by Noa Tishby, worked on behalf of Israel to advance its interests in the United States. Colin, if you will. Back in March of 2011, the Israeli consulate in New York City had a problem. A group of soldiers from the IOF, as Jen likes to say, were coming to the U.S. on a PR trip, and Israeli officials needed help persuading influential media outlets to interview the delegation. This is 2011, mind you. Luckily for the consulate, a new organization called Act for Israel, led by Israeli-American Noa Tishby, there is no such thing as Israeli, was prepared to swing into action. In mid-March 2011, the New York consulate requested our assistance. Tishby's organization wrote in a document revealed in a recent trove of leaked emails. Act for Israel quickly arranged 7 interviews with the top ranks of U.S. blogs and radio shows, highlighting that their efforts help promote Israel's narrative in Red State, which is described as the most read blog by U.S. senators and Congress representatives, if you happen to be in the GOP, of course. The previously unreported campaign appears to have violated the Foreign Agents Registration Act, or FARA. Well, what a surprise, which mandates that American citizens and organizations publicly disclose any work that seeks to influence American politics on behalf of a foreign power. That sounds like a slam dunk case of activities that should have required FARA registration, said Ben Freeman, a FARA expert at the Quincy Institute, which publishes RS. The leak provides a rare window into how some pro-Israel activists have skirted rules aimed at providing transparency about foreign influence over American politics, a practice that has helped obscure the scale of Israeli propaganda efforts in the U.S. in public. Act for Israel appeared to be no more than a group of pro-Israel Americans advocating for a strong U.S.-Israel relationship. But the leaked emails and documents show that representatives of the organization sought to shape U.S. public opinion while boasting privately of their intimate collaboration with the Israeli government. Jen, would you like to read the next paragraph, please?
Where are we here? Why is it? Okay, it's faded because, okay, there we go. A bio of Tishby contained in the leak, for example, describes her as working closely with Israel's government, Israel's embassy, and consulates to advocate for Israel. The documents come from a leak of the emails of Gabi Ashkenazi, a former IOO chief of staff who joined Act for Israel. You have no idea how far away I'm sitting from the actual screen. Mm-hmm. Act for Israel, which is, what is that called? Okay. As a board member starting in mid-2011, RS was unable to independently verify the authenticity of the emails, which were leaked by a pro-Iran hacking group called Handala. But many of the details found in the documents comport with publicly available information about Act for Israel. Neither Tishby nor Ashkenazi responded to requests for comment. Shocking.
Just the idea that the woman's name is Ashkenazi.
So this goes back to, this is going back to 2011 is what they're talking about.
Which is amazing.
In this, well, I was going to say it probably actually goes back further than that.
Sure.
But that's the thing. People are now starting to see it, and obviously they've increased their tentacles as far as other content creators because they've had to. But this Hasbara, this nonsense and propaganda coming out of Ziohel, that's been happening since the beginning of Ziohel. This isn't new. None of this is new. So the fact that this goes back to 2011 is great, but really this goes back to before 48.
FARA experts have long suspected that there was more work being done on behalf of the Israeli government that public disclosures revealed. According to Freeman, there was an underlying assumption that Israel didn't have to play by the rules, of course. With this, we're getting a sense that our suspicions were right. A strong partnership with Israel's foreign ministry. So 2011 was a stressful year for conservative commentator Josh Trevino. A few years after founding the influential political blog Red State, Trevino had launched another platform called Malaysia Matters. And rumors had started to circulate that saying that Trevino was running this blog on behalf of Malaysian officials. Trevino strenuously denied any secret work from Malaysia at the time. I'm confident I am within the law. 2 years later, though, he changed his tune and agreed to retroactively register as a foreign agent for Malaysia, all while claiming to have been unaware of FARA. Of course, always play dumb. In retrospect, it turns out that this wasn't Trevino's only work that may have violated FARA. The leaked emails suggest that he was also doing PR on behalf of Act for Israel and, by extension, the Israeli government. Various documents show that Trevino worked with Act for Israel as an advisor and media director starting in late 2010. This work appeared to include efforts to place pro-Israel content in popular American blogs, including Red State. It's not clear whether the organization paid Trevino for this work, though even unpaid activities are covered by FARA, according to Freeman. The statute of limitations for FARA violations is 5 years, meaning that neither Trevino nor anyone else in this story faces legal risk for any activities carried out on behalf of Act for Israel. What they're essentially saying is we need to register Israel as a foreign, or anyone who works on behalf of Israel as a foreign agent, or register the state of Israel under FARA. That is how, I mean, again, it's not the only thing that's going to stop them, but it's one component that will play a major role in that respect. Trevino also appears to have helped put together at least one media junket to Israel with the organization. Even as he denied acting as a foreign agent on behalf of Malaysia, Trevino revealed that he has also offered people paid trips to Israel. This seems to be a reference to the Act for Israel Media Fellowship, a fully funded excursion that the organization described in previously undisclosed documents as part of a strong partnership with Israel's Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Jen, if you would like to continue.
International press trips are not uncommon, but this one stood out because it required participants to produce a minimum of 6 articles on national publications as a result of the fellowship, according to a leaked document. Act for Israel claimed that this led to the publication of 48 articles in a dozen distinguished media outlets. Now, I am curious what they consider to be a distinguished media outlet, and I do see how they have that in quotes. Unable to find these articles, but did find several blog posts. Participants in the 2011 junket included several notable media figures, such as blogger and anti-former Senate candidate Chuck DeVore, essayist Claire Berlinski, Tim Mack, who went on to work for the Washington Examiner, NPR, and the Daily Beast, Seth Mandel, is that what's it? Yeah, Seth Mandel, now a senior editor at Commentary Magazine, and Molly Hemingway, now the editor-in-chief of The Federalist. During the trip, a right-wing Israeli newspaper interviewed DeVore and Berlinski, who criticized international coverage of the conflict and urged foreign reporters to better portray Israeli narratives. Okay, so this was back in 2011, and I'm trying to really think about exactly what was happening in 2011, what was going on in the background of this. And I'm not trying to imagine like what that was.
I mean, in May 1st, 2011 is when they assassinated bin Laden. I mean, I can't really think of any.
Yeah, but we were not watching this like we are now. So whatever was going on in, whatever torturous, oppressive crap was going on in the West Bank and Gaza, is not. I'm not sure where we were. I don't remember. But anyhow,
participants in the 2011 junket.
I did that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's what I'm saying. I read that part.
Colin. An itinerary obtained by RS shows, and again, this is the publication, that the delegation participated in a series of high-level meetings, including conversations with Deputy Foreign Minister Danny Ayalon and Mark Regev, then the Deputy Head of Communications in the Prime Minister's office. The group also received a briefing on the Iranian threat from the Israeli Foreign Ministry and joined an IDF spokesperson for a tour of Israel's border with Lebanon. RS could not confirm whether the participants were aware of the writing requirement, but if they knew about the condition and compiled, we were of the Israeli government's relationship to the junket, then they should have also registered as foreign agents. At the time of the trip, Trevino was paying Mandel. I wonder if that's the same Mandel that was writing shit articles about you when you ran against Wasserman Schultz. Probably. Berklinski and Dvory to write articles about Malaysia as part of Trevino's efforts on behalf of the Malaysian officials. All three deny any knowledge that the money came from the Malaysian government. Of course, that's what law firms are for. Trevino appears to have ended his partnership with Act for Israel in late 2011. He now works on domestic policy at the Texas Public Policy Foundation and on Latin American security issues for the America First Policy Institute. I tell you, they can create a nonprofit out of thin air anytime they want. They really can.
And the names of them are always the exact opposite
of what they're actually
like
doing.
The Center for American Progress. They are not about
anything but progress.
Right. It's the exact opposite.
America First Policy Institute, America Last is really what it means.
Yeah, it's Israel first.
Trevino, neither Trevino nor the journalists who participated in the junket responded to requests for comment. Of course not. So here's where it gets interesting. Colin. Meanwhile, Tishby, Act for Israel's founder, and Sharon Levinson, totally not Jewish, the group's co-founder, continued working hard to raise money from pro-Israel groups in the U.S. to help fund their activities. In their pitch, the pair told prospective donors that Act for Israel will continue to work in partnership with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to develop a network of pro-Israel thought influencers who can reach the masses digitally. An early precursor to a similar pro-Israel influence campaign that RS revealed in September. The group was particularly determined to turn Americans against a series of civilian flotillas that were attempting to break the Israeli blockade in Gaza, of course. These efforts elicited a high-level endorsement from the Israeli government. In a 2011 letter to Tishby revealed in the leak, then Israeli President Shimon Peres called Act for Israel a solution to a new form of delegitimization of Israel. You provide a quick and active appeal to youth around the world. By doing so, you are a great help to the public relations efforts which are led by the State of Israel. I'd say that's a conflict of interest.
So how long is this art? Like, this is like a very in-depth thing that we're getting into here. Yes. And I'm kind of glazing over. So like, I feel like I'm just curious. Well, I'm just like kind of wanting to know the big picture here, because what this sounds like to me is a story just further expanding the group of people that we know to be Hasbara propagandists.
I think that Colin, can you see how long this how much longer the article is? Okay, we're almost done. Okay, so what I do think is very important to note here is that what this is essentially saying is that if you remember right after October 7th happened, Noa Tishby was getting, I think you would agree, Jen, Noa Tishby was getting a lot of media coverage, like a lot. Like, she was considered one of the foremost experts, if you will, on Israel, America relations. And it's pretty obvious why that's the case, because
wasn't she one of the like rape rumor?
Yes, absolutely. She pushed that rape hoax from day one.
Right. And has she yet to retract that at all?
Absolutely not.
So, this is like, she's not a serious person. And honestly, up until like then, and I would have never even remembered her. Like, I only know these people because of you.
Thanks. Yeah, you blame me. It's my fault.
Well, no, I'm just saying it's like, she's not significant to me. Like, I wouldn't have even known who that was.
Oh, I agree. She isn't. She's kind of a loser. Act for Israel appears to have folded the intervening years, but several of its affiliates have continued working to shape Americans' view of Israel. Tishby, in particular, has become an influential voice advocating for the return of Israeli hostages while railing against so-called pro-Palestinian movements in the U.S. Her Pop History of Israel remains one of the most popular books about the conflict on Amazon.
The conflict.
The conflict.
The
And we all
conflict.
know Bezos would definitely pump up the shit out of this woman's interests. She is the voice of this Jewish generation. Yov Davis, a frequent collaborator of Tishby's, told the New York Times in 2023. I keep telling her that God has been grooming her for this moment. I'm sorry. So in 2022, Tishby registered as a foreign agent for the first time during a 2-year-long stint as Israel's special envoy for combating anti-Semitism and the delegitimization of Israel. But the leaked emails revealed that the scope of timeline in her work on behalf of Israeli interests were far beyond the disclosures shared in that registration.
I'm sure.
And there is no reason to believe that some of these activities are ongoing. One possible clue is the fact that
there is reason to believe.
Yes. One possible clue is the fact that Davis, her collaborator and a former IDF spokesperson, recently registered as a foreign agent for Israel. In a pair of Faris filings, Davis said that the Israeli government is paying him $161,000 to do PR about hostage and humanitarian awareness. Though his comms shop, Davis Media NYLLC, in a month and a half since the disclosure was filed, Tishby and Davis have collaborated on several hostage-related videos that Tishby has pushed out to her 927,000 followers on Instagram.
How much do you want to bet that a whole bunch of those are not real people?
Or it's farmed. These are farmed people.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying. That's not like the people like her, even people like Hillary Clinton, proportionately, their followers, their supporters is so exaggerated. It is such a fiction. You could fit them all probably in my studio.
RS could not establish any direct link between the contract and these videos, which reflect Tishby's long-held views. Davis did not respond to a request for comment. There is also indication that Davis has done more work for Israel than his recent FARA filing suggests. As early as 2020, Davis listed the Israeli consulate in New York City as a client of his PR firm, which produces and directs short-form video content. According to Freeman, any PR work done on behalf of the consulate would almost certainly require registration under FARA. And finally, the folks who are doing this work should take a hard look at whether they should be registered under FARA. If they don't register, this might be a case where the DOJ wants to take a look.
Doubtful.
Why would the DOJ take a look at anything that would go against Israel?
Oh, the Department of Justice. Yes, that's what they are.
That's
all about justice.